is page 25. Okay, so here they say if 80 equals measure of angle A, then measure of angle A equals 80. So you can look back at like your answer bank, and here it says A equals B, then B equals A. That is similar to what they showed here. So it is symmetric property. Then number 2, RS equals TU and TU equals YP, then RS must equal YP. Do you remember what that one was? Somebody said it. I think it was Billy. Did you say it? Transitive. Transitive property. I can't tell with your masks. It's like a mumbled low voice, and it could be. What's that? It was Gabriel. It was Gabriel.
I know number 3.
You do? What do you think it is?
Substitution.
What?
Oh,
actually, it's not. Okay, so for number 3, it says 7x equals 28, and then it says x equals 4. To get to that answer, you would have to divide by 7.
Oh,
so
division.
It's division property.
I made a mistake. That was on me.
Okay. The next one, it says VR plus TY equals EN and equals EN plus TY. Then VR equals EN. They're adding TY to both sides. So in this case, it's a... Oh, wait. Sorry. I was about to say addition. But in order to get to this answer, you have to subtract TY from both sides, making it subtraction property. You'll see why I almost made that mistake here, because in the proofs it shows us adding both sides. Okay, number 5. This one is a little bit more challenging.
It's transitive.
It looks like it would be transitive, and it may be a little bit, but what they're looking for is substitution.
Dang.
So what they did was if measure of angle 1 equals 30, and measure of angle 1 equals measure of angle 2, the measure of angle 2 must equal 30. So they literally plugged this in for measure of angle 1, which made measure of angle 2 equal 30. They substituted it. Okay, now we're going to get into proofs. And proofs are what everyone talks about in geometry. And we're going to start here. What's nice is they're introducing proofs with algebra, which you're pretty familiar with, which is nice. Here's a couple things to know about proofs. This is a 2-column proof, and this column is always statements, and this column is always reasons. It always starts out with the given. So here it says given 8x minus 5 equals 2x plus 1. So they put that as the first statement. And the reason for that is that's what's given. So if you have no idea where to start with a proof, always start with the given. At least you'll get that part right. Then you'll notice what they're doing here is just solving the equation like you normally would, but for each step they're giving a reason. So here they are subtracting 2x from both sides, and that is subtraction property of equality. Then here, the next step that you would take in solving this is you'd probably combine your like terms. So you might do 8x minus 2x to get 6x minus 5. And then 2x minus 2x is just 0, and then it's equal to 1. I would call that like simplifying or combining like terms. In these proofs, they call that substitution. So anytime you combine like terms or just simplify that equation, it's called substitution. The next step I would take to solve this, if it wasn't in this crazy format, would be I would add 5 to both sides. So that's what we're going to show here. So I take that, and I'm going to add 5, and then 1 plus 5 over here. And they already put that is addition property. Then here they just combined like terms and kind of simplified it a little bit. So we're going to call that substitution. Then for F, it shows that they're dividing both sides by 6. That's division property. And then the last step, they're just simplifying it again. X equals 1. So that would be substitution. Okay, so number 7. Here it wants us to make a 2-column proof to verify the conjecture. And it's a bit different than the algebra one. I wouldn't expect you to be able to do this from scratch by any means, but as you see different examples, you'll notice that the same situations come up time and time again with proofs. So in just exposing yourself to this, the next time you see one similar, you'll know what they're looking for. So first of all, 2-column proof, we have to set it up. So we're going to set up a T-chart. And title this column statements, and this one reasons. Okay, let's just look at the situation first. It's telling us that PQ is congruent to QS, so we might want to mark that. This is congruent to this. And it's also saying that QS is congruent to ST. And then they want us to prove that PQ is equal in length to ST, which that's transitive property. So we're definitely going to use that in the proof, but we're going to start with just putting the given. And the given is this right here. So we're just going to copy that from the problem. PQ is congruent to QS, and QS is congruent to ST. And the reason, given. The next step, it wants you to note that PQ is equal to QS. Although we wrote that they're congruent means they're the same length, but we kind of have to make that jump and write it like this, QS equals ST. This means they're actually the same length. So definition of congruent segments means that they're the same length. So then we can say that PQ is equal to ST by the transitive property. And once you get to this, what you're trying to prove, then you're done. How is this tested? Like on standardized testing, it's usually like drag and drop. So they'll fill out some of it for you, and you have to fill in either like a reason or a step like that. Then we're going to go onto the back page. It's like, the more we do together, the more familiar and easier the homework will be.
You don't know that it is.
Yeah, you will. You have plenty of time though. Okay, so this problem, I don't like it very much. So we're gonna cross it out. But I'm gonna replace it with a problem I do like.
Dang.
Okay, so here's what we're going to write. It's going to say, solve this equation use a 2-column proof.
Oh. 6x plus 2.
Trying to zoom out as best I can, but it's okay, first step is to set up the T-chart. So just set it up on your paper like this. I drew it all the way down to the next problem. And then label the 2 columns statements and reasons. First thing we start off with is what is given, and this is what is given. So for the statement, I'm just going to copy that equation. And the reason is that is given. If I were just solving this equation, the first thing I would do is distribute this 2 to those 2 terms. So that's what I'm going to do here as well. So 6x plus 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 or minus 2 equals 30. So then my reason was distributive property.
6x plus 2 is...
Okay, if I was just solving it, the next thing I would do would be combine these like terms. So I'm still going to do that. I just have to name it now. Anytime we're simplifying, combining like terms, call that substitution. Next step would be to add 2 to both sides. So I'm going to show that here. And the reason is addition property of equality. Then from here, just combining like terms to simplify it. Substitution. This is the last problem we're doing on the page, by the way. We're almost done. Next step to get x by itself would be to divide both sides by 8. So I'm going to show that here. And explain that I'm using the division property. And last but not least, x equals 4. And I'm just simplifying this, so we call it substitution. Oh, I didn't realize you couldn't see that last part. There you go. And that's it. So now we're going to transition over to the homework on Schoology. You'll take a laptop to your seat and complete the homework. If you have questions along the way, just raise your hand. I'll come over to answer them. If you finish it early, use the time to work on Khan Academy. And yeah, at 5 minutes till the bell, you can put up your laptop. So if you finish everything, use the laptop for something school related till the 5-minute timer goes off.
Can I go to the library after I finish?
We'll see. Okay, you may get up to get a laptop.